The U.S. Congress returned to Washington on Monday to discuss another coronavirus aid bill. Investors are hoping for more fiscal support, as a program that offers additional unemployment benefits is set to expire on July 31st. So how did stock benchmarks perform? The S&P 500 added 0.28% on Friday as investors weighed the prospect of more fiscal stimulus against fears of further business disruptions due to a rise in COVID cases. It closed at 3,224.73 to add 1.25% to the previous Monday open. Netflix tumbled 6.5% after the video streaming service forecast slower than expected subscriber growth during the third quarter, pulling the communication services sector down 0.4%. The S&P 500 utilities, real estate and healthcare indices were the session's strongest gainers. Unprecedented stimulus measures and improving economic data have helped the S&P 500 rise to within about 5% of its February record high. Meanwhile, the Dow slid by 0.23% on Friday to 26,672.46. For the week, the index notched a 2.29% uprise. The Dow started the week in the green, though a 1.5% drop in Goldman Sachs helped keep the Dow in the negative territory on Thursday, as well as on Friday, with the trade volumes falling. For the week, both S&P 500 and the Dow rose amid the optimism over an eventual coronavirus vaccine and hopes of a post-pandemic economic recovery. Meantime, the tech-heavy NASDAQ added 0.28% to reach 10,503.19 on Friday. Week-on-week, NASDAQ fell by 1.08%. In fact, investors sold shares of high-flying companies including Microsoft and Amazon and moved into cyclical sectors. As this week, second quarter reports are expected from Microsoft, Tesla, Intel and Verizon Communications. The US corporations are going through a disaster this year because of the coronavirus. Investors are looking for information from companies about the potential size and timing of an eventual recovery. Tesla shares closed at the price of 1,500.84 on Friday, having lost 2.84% for the week. Tesla, which has seen a strong rally this year, is due to report its latest quarterly earnings on Wednesday. A profit would mark its first four-quarter profit, paving the way for its addition to the S&P 500. In fact, some experts consider Tesla stocks to be overpriced and say its estimation is based on the expectations of good financial results in the future. Thus, even a slight change in the strategy of the company can cause huge volatility. The investors should be ready either to the growth or to the slide of the shares in the short term. On the more positive side, the Food and Drug Administration granted fast-track designation for coronavirus vaccine candidates from Pfizer and BioNTech. Shares of Pfizer gained 1.8%, BioNTech advanced 6.3% in the pre-market. Thus, Pfizer stock closed the week at 36.25, with the uprise by 7.15% since Monday open. Moreover, Germany's CureVac said in June it would start human trials of an experimental vaccine for treating COVID-19 in the country. The company, based in Tübingen and backed by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is using the so-called messenger RNA approach, the same as BioNTech and its partner Pfizer, as well as Moderna. Volume on US exchanges was 9.5 billion shares, compared with the 11.6 billion average for the full session over the last 20 trading days. You've watched Weekly Financial Review on Insta TV with me, Anna Kasatkina. See you back soon.